The whole AI hype phase, it's over. We are now officially in the era of real-world value, of production-grade systems, and honestly, a total redefinition of what a career in AI even looks like. So, if you're standing there wondering where you fit into all this, well, this is your roadmap for 2026.
First things first, we have to start with a pretty blunt truth. The age of being a generalist, of living in isolated Jupyter notebooks, that's basically over. The industry's focus has completely shifted away from just experimentation. What companies are demanding now are deep specialists, people who can build, deploy, and scale really complex, enterprise-ready AI systems. This isn't a prediction, it's the new reality on the ground.
So why this huge shift? Well, as always, just follow the money. Global spending on AI is about to blast past $2 trillion this year. And look, that's not just hype or some abstract research funding. We're talking about serious, hard investment that's driving what we call a value cycle. Businesses are no longer asking, hey, what can AI do? The question now is, what can AI do for us, reliably, securely, and at massive scale?
Okay, so how do you find your place in this brand new landscape? It really all comes down to understanding the three foundational roles of any modern AI team. We're going to break down the machine learning engineer, the AI engineer, and the AI architect. These are the core jobs that are defining the entire field right now.
First up, we've got the machine learning engineer. And the best way to think about this role truly is as the engine builder. These are the folks operating deep down in the machine room, you know? They're building foundational models from scratch, or they're fine-tuning existing ones with just surgical precision. Their entire world is MLOps, distributed computing, and squeezing every single last drop of performance out of incredibly expensive hardware.
So what's next? Well, if the ML engineer builds that incredibly powerful custom engine, the AI engineer is the person who masterfully connects it to the rest of the car. They're the system integrators. They take these amazing models and they use them to build smart applications, autonomous agents, and sophisticated systems that solve actual, tangible problems for users.
And finally, let's zoom all the way out to the AI architect. Think of them as the city planner. They aren't just designing one car or one engine. Oh no, they're designing the entire city's road network, the traffic laws, the bridges, all the underlying infrastructure. Their view is completely strategic. It's all about designing a secure, governed, compliant, and cost-effective AI platform for the entire company.
And what I think is so fascinating when you see it laid out like this is how you can visualize the different altitudes these roles operate at. You've got the ML engineer at the deepest level, working with raw infrastructure like PyTorch and Kubernetes. Then the AI engineer moves up a layer, using frameworks like LangChain to orchestrate things. And way up top, the architect is dealing with broad cloud platforms and governance. This isn't just about different tools, it's a completely different perspective and focus.
But, and this is so important, before you can specialize, before you get to pick one of these really exciting lanes, everyone has to travel down the same road first. There is a core set of skills that is the absolute unshakable bedrock of a successful career in AI today.
And this foundational journey really rests on three pillars that are completely non-negotiable. First, you have to master the math. Linear algebra, probability calculus, that's the language these models speak. You've got to be fluent. Second, you have to build with Python and SQL. This is your bread and butter for data manipulation and building algorithms. And third, you have to command the system. You need to be comfortable in Linux and Git because real AI doesn't run on your laptop. It runs on distributed servers. Okay, so once you've built that solid foundation, this is where the path splits. So let's dig into how that base supports our two core engineering roles, the ML engineer and the AI engineer, because each one takes you on a very unique and vital journey.
And this just illustrates that split perfectly. The ML engineer's path goes deep into the guts of the model itself, training, optimization, raw efficiency. They build the engine. The AI engineer, on the other hand, works at a higher level. They're all about application and integration. They're the ones who connect that powerful engine to a product that people can actually use.
If you look at the ML engineer's toolkit, it makes perfect sense, right? It's all about that core engine. They're using frameworks like PyTorch and TensorFlow to build the models, CUDA to get every ounce of performance from the hardware, and things like Docker and Kubernetes to make it all scale. And tools like MLflow and DVC, absolutely critical for tracking experiments and managing data, making sure everything is reproducible and ready for prime time.
So what does a job-ready ML engineer portfolio even look like? Let me be clear. Forget about those isolated notebooks. It's all about end-to-end production systems now. A hiring manager wants to know, can you build a feature store to feed models consistent data? Can you deploy a system that serves predictions in real time when it's getting slammed with traffic? Can you shrink a model down to run on a tiny edge device? That's what proves you can handle real-world complexity.
Now, in complete contrast, the AI engineers stack is all about connecting the dots. They're using frameworks like LangChain and Crew AI to build autonomous agents that can actually reason and plan. They use vector databases to give those agents long-term memory and knowledge, and then tools like Fast API are how they wrap it all up in a robust API so other apps and people can use their intelligent systems.
An AI engineer's portfolio, then, needs to just scream application mastery. Build a production-grade RAG system that doesn't just find information, but actually evaluates the quality of its own answers. Create a reliable AI agent that can juggle multiple tools and, recover gracefully when things go wrong. Or design a custom GPT that automates some really painful business workflow. This is how you show you can deliver tangible, bottom-line value.
Okay, so let's zoom out one last time. We've talked about the engineers building the engines and putting them in the cars, but above them, we have the architect, who's designing the entire transportation ecosystem for the whole company.
You have to get this quote. It is absolutely key. Great architecture is not about finding some perfect, magical solution that does everything. It's about making smart, strategic trade-offs. The best architects can walk into a room and clearly explain what they chose to sacrifice. Maybe it was a bit of cost, or a little latency, or some extra complexity, and tell you exactly why that sacrifice was the right call for the business. That right there is the sign of a mature architect.
And this brings us to what an architect really worries about. And it's way bigger than a single piece of code. They're creating the standardized blueprints the whole company follows. They're designing security across every single system. They are relentlessly hunting for ways to optimize costs. They're navigating these crazy, complex hybrid cloud setups and making sure every little piece is compliant with regulations.
Which, of course, brings up a really interesting question. How do you build a portfolio for this? You can't just point to your GitHub profile. The answer is a portfolio of sanitized case studies. You have to document real projects you've worked on, show the business problem, the architecture diagrams, and most importantly, explain the strategic trade-offs you made and the why behind them.
So, there you have it. We've mapped out this new landscape, we've defined the core roles, and we've walked through the different paths that lead to a really successful career in AI today. So let's just boil it all down. The ML engineer is your engine builder, deep in the technical weeds. The AI engineer is your system integrator, connecting that engine to the car. And the AI architect is your city planner, designing the whole road network. But here's the most crucial takeaway of all. They are not isolated. They need each other. The architect designs the city, the ML engineer builds the high-performance engines, and the AI engineer puts those engines into cars that people can actually drive. Each one makes the others possible.
So look, the paths are laid out, the specializations are clearly defined, and the demand for these skills is just exploding. The roadmap is clear, so really the only question left is, which future are you going to build?